Thousands of MAGA-loving young Republicans descended on Houston for a youth summit put on by Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who many see as a possible next top MAGA to replace Donald Trump, but don't tell him about that. Trump, I mean. So this is the graphic for the Crenshaw Youth Summit, featuring people I've never heard of and probably people who did not show up. Was Megyn Kelly actually there? No, I recognize some of those faces. Apparently Megyn Kelly was there. You got, there's Ben Shapiro, you got Dave Rubin in the mix. JP Sears, who is a, in heavy quotes, comedian. The hotel also was hosting, this is fun, dozens of traveling nurses from all over the country, apparently, who happen to be in the same place as these, as this like giant gathering of MAGA youth who were very much against wearing masks or doing anything of the sort. I wanna skip down to some of their COVID protocols, which did not exist. Someone shouted, this is Benny Johnson shouted, "Who loves breathing sweet, delicious, free air maskless?" Shouted Benny Johnson, a Trump-loving meme maker for Turning Point USA. You realize that meme maker is an actual job at this point? Like, yeah, I am. He makes memes. He's gonna be president. Amazing. So Harris County, where Crenshaw and the company had convened the conspicuously maskless confab, had seen an average of more than 2,000 cases a day the previous week, prompting officials to urge unvaccinated people to stay home as much as possible. But that didn't stop Dave Rubin from shouting, "This room is absolutely jam-packed." He shouted over a Blink 182 cover band during the conference's opening night on September 11th. Ugh. Why do we have to add insult to injury? And I'm fairly certain no one is going to die here. I love that he added fairly certain to his like screaming rallying cry. And I'm fairly, like, unless it was just laced with irony, and you know people were cheering. David, the responsibility, the lack thereof at convening a youth summit at this time, especially, and who knows, maybe there were children under 12 there, especially when those folks can't even get vaccinated. A lot of people are back in schools.
Yeah, this is not our best and brightest. I mean, if people came from another planet and all they knew about, the children of the future was to see these folks, they'd be like, Earth is done. I mean, this society is toast. Thankfully, most younger people are not this taken in, are not this stupid, and there actually are some intellectuals and people who believe in science and facts who are in elementary school and junior high school and college. And then there are the people who I guess, are sort of feel like they've been left out somehow, or maybe they have intellectual problems and somehow they get attracted to the Ben Shapiros and Megyn Kellys and the others who are still grasping for relevance. So I just feel sad. It just seems so pathetic. I mean, who would want to hang out with this crew? Certainly the nurses had better things to do, so.
Yeah, the nurses stayed very far away from the conference hall. I do think it's important to talk about how Dan Crenshaw came into his own youth summit. So Crenshaw is a Navy SEAL who lost his right eye in Afghanistan. He entered by rappelling onto the stage at the summit wearing camo pants and a tight black shirt. Why do you have to say tight? Following a mini movie about him escaping from Antifa kidnappers and parachuting onto the roof of the hotel. There is such a thing called BDE, but there's also something called like SDE, and I feel very strong SDE coming from Dan Crenshaw. The kids know what I'm talking about. A mini movie about you escaping Antifa kidnappers. In what world? I love that like that actually didn't happen, that actually so-called Antifa were kidnapped off the streets of places like Portland and shoved into unmarked vehicles by federal agents. And yet Antifa are the ones who are kidnapping people. Oh, let's see, there is a plot against Governor Gretchen Whitmer's life to kidnap her in the wake of any lockdown measures from COVID, but no, Antifa are the actual kidnappers. It is an incredible projection. This is a Hollywood style projection.
And it's cheesy. I mean, we've long known about the lack of shame and self-awareness that these people have. I mean, I wouldn't, who in their right mind, and I guess the key word is right mind, would want to be introduced to an audience that way? Because it's so cheap, it's so cheesy. The students know better. They probably know, although some of these probably don't, but anybody who's thinking probably knows, okay, this is kind of icky and sort of awkward and uncomfortable, and this is not the way to sort of appeal to my generation. But that's what Dan Crenshaw thinks. He thinks he needs these sort of stupid stunts in order to somehow connect with younger people. And that's why I think Republicans and conservatives are doomed, and they know it, because they're down to resorting to cheap tricks and stupid stunts because their ideology is being consistently rejected now by anybody who's under 30.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if this wasn't like a campaign to lower the voting age, I think these kids are gonna age out of those stunts real quick, But for now, the youth like this. I have to read a couple more. This is just a very fun story. And I realize that some people don't care, but it's so funny. And I feel like we can be a fly on the wall. So let's read a little bit more. So his campaign charged only $15 a ticket, not bad, but said the event wasn't about turning a profit. But young people were lining up to purchase Crenshaw merchandise with whatever money they had. T-shirts for $30, okay. Mugs for $25. I'm sorry. I hate mugs generally because they never keep anything warm. $25 for a mug, a Christmas sweatshirt for $50. A Christmas sweater for $50 and so on. I want to jump down. This is very funny. Per the urging signs of scattered across the conference, young attendees flooded social media with posts lionizing the congressman and the event. What a night to remember. Got to take pics with pretty much all my idols today, said one attendee in an Instagram post. Whoever said don't meet your heroes, said another who posted a post including a photo of a signed box for a collectible Dan Crenshaw action figure. Like, do they think he's like Sergeant Slaughter from G.I. Joe or whoever had like the eye patch? Like that's the level that we're on. And again, like I get it if you're talking to like 15-year-olds, but 15-year-olds can't vote. Like adults vote. I mean, I think we should lower the voting age. But my God, I don't know. And you know what I keep on thinking about? And I don't know what you think about this, David. I think about Donald Trump and how mad he must be. The Dan Crenshaw with his one eye. Oh, he thinks he's so great. I can repel. I choose not to. Okay. No, it's not because of my weight and that I would absolutely break that the hook and I can't remember the name, the carabiner. I believe in fat shaming Trump. Don't talk to me about fat shaming. We can fat shame Trump. No, but like Trump must be so mad that like there's already someone waiting in the wings being groomed, right? Because everyone should be beholden to him as they sort of wait to see whether he's gonna run again.
And somebody who's grifting just as intensely as Donald Trump would. I mean, $25 for a mug and $90 for a Christmas sweatshirt. Well, I'm sure that's going to be really popular around the Christmas table. One of the stories that I used to love to do back in the day is you go to these Republican events where they're all about America first, America. And you go to the merchandise and you figure out, okay, you open the tab and say, where was the merchandise made? And almost every time it is made in China. Why? Because it's so much cheaper and they can make more money off of their merchandise if it's made someplace cheap than if it's actually made in America by the Union of Needlepoint and Industrial Textile Employees, who are the Americans who make t-shirts and sweatshirts and what. But of course, they don't really care about America. They only really care about padding their own pockets and taking advantage of these poor kids. Oh, yes. What a mess.
Oh yeah, I know the prices of some of those things wholesale, and especially if you're getting them like in bulk from China, $25 for a mug, you are making so much money on that. $30 for a shirt for something that you probably wholesale paid like $6 for. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it reminds me of the initial days of the Trump administration. People were kind of reaming Bernie Sanders because Bernie was like, look, if Trump actually wants to strengthen unions and keep jobs in the United States and raise wages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and actually put American laborers first, I'm down with that, and everyone was like, why is he gonna work with Trump? And then it was very clear that Trump had absolutely no intention of doing that. And every time he did some sort of, stunt at, what was it, the Ford, I think it might have been Ford company or one of the companies that he prevented one small shop from going over abroad, but like he prevented one shop from going abroad, but like 3 others of the same company left. So it was a wash, and he did nothing to actually help American manufacturers, because he's not willing to. In order to go after, to actually support American labor, you're gonna have to go after corporations, and he wasn't about to do that. He was gonna help them out.
I got news for the youth of America, although it's not news for most youth. Being a Republican on a high school or college campus, you are not gonna be cool to begin with. So, fair or not, that is not cool. Now you add to that you're wearing the Dan Crenshaw sweatshirt or taking around the mug, and you're literally asking to get a swirly during recess in 12th grade or whatever it is that kids do to each other these days. So I don't know. I mean, and Dan Crenshaw ought to know better, and these conservatives should know better as well. You really want to help? And I'm not suggesting that we advise conservatives on how to help, them recruit conservative youth. But why not have intellectual discussions? Why not try to appeal to people based on ideology and the heft of your intellectual argument? I think that's where younger people are going. And I think that's why Democrats are making so much more inroads and progressives are making more inroads with younger people, because they get it, because the intellectual arguments make sense to them. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I guess the last point, I do think that Democrats should also create a welcoming party, and not just Democrats, progressives, leftists, that we should not be obsessed with our own marginality. And hey, look, if you need to repel off of something, do it. Do a stunt. I don't care. Again, I'm of the mind that like it's okay to pull a stunt at the Met Gala wearing a dress, because it will bring more people into the fold. It is a mainstream thing to do. It's not necessarily a concrete action, but it brings people into the fold, right? And so we can't be above stunts also. I think there's a time and a place.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.